Oh, it was good. It was good. Let's get straight into it. Let's kick off with okay, it was Europa League before we go Napoli. Europa League's finals.
Yeah.
Let's review it. We spoke about that match last Saturday. I was expecting an exciting match because I feel like two teams that have nothing to lose. We go out there. We both of us want to get this thing. It's the only thing that will salvage our season. But the match fell short of expectations.
Yeah, well, I think it was like that because they both had something to lose. Both managers, their jobs were on the line. They would gain at least more respect if they won the Europa League final. Also, you mentioned where they finished in the league, or where they are in the league right now, 16th and 17th.
Yeah.
It's unheard of where you see a Manchester United 16th on the table and even a Tottenham Hotspur 17th on the table. It's been a long time you see those two in that kind of position respectively. And then also, winning the Europa League final will guarantee you Champions League spots come next season. So everything was on the line for both sides. And it was expected that it was going to be a cagey game. Yeah, I was impressed to see the first goal in the first half. I actually thought after that first goal came in, the floodgates were going to be open. United tried. Since then, Tottenham just made sure that, look, we have that one goal. We have to make sure that we solidify the defense, we hold on. After that one goal, from the statistics, Tottenham had no shot on target after that.
Even though the goal was crufty and all of that. So I slept off. In fact, there was a particular point I woke up, it was 60-something. I was like, this match never ended. I slept off again.
Oh, you woke up and watched the game.
I am telling you.
I said I slept in the second half. I woke up past 12.
I am telling you. Because I expected that you throw this all out on the line and you guys go out there and give me a final that is not cagey and all of that. But they still gave us, the goal was a scrappy goal. They're still arguing. Was it own goal? Was it Johnson's goal? It's just going back and forth and all of that. We expected more from these guys. Ruben Amorim. Yeah. Look, we spoke about it here. I emphatically stated why it was a stupid decision, a silly one for them to get this guy. This is Manchester United. I don't know why they don't see things that other people see. This is a big corporation, footballing. You are one of the most recognizable up there with Madrid. What happened? How is it so?
Well, I think for the game itself, if we're going to look at it, banter aside, I think tactics came to play that day. And, of course, Manchester United not knowing how to, of course, finish off their game. If they had a recognized striker in that game, I know Oiland is recognized as a striker, but, of course, he's not been performing. Finisher. Yeah, of course. So now,
what's the difference between striker and finisher?
It's not a poacher.
Is tag and position.
Yeah.
Then
ability
the
to finish.
Yes, the finishing is not the ability.
So that means Hoyland, what is he?
How many goals has he scored?
He's a striker that cannot score.
Has he scored more than 10? So basically, in the game, United dominated. From the wings, they didn't make use of the middle. And you saw Ahmad becoming like the Messi of the day, and he was cooking Udogie left and right. But the problem was his cutbacks, the crosses. Who could connect? United were more dangerous than Spurs. And Spurs, for the first time in my life, I saw Ange. I don't want to say pack the bus, but they didn't come out.
Yeah.
Solanke was off the mark on that day. Richarlison was off the mark. The only good thing was the fact that he could mark. And apart from that scrappy goal, they didn't play anything. United, but sometimes we say that this football is cruel. If you don't take your chance, anybody who, of course, takes their chance is the winner of the game. Spurs were no deserved winners, but there is no one way to play the game.
But if it was possible for them to lose, they should have lost.
Of course, no. United deserved more of the win. If not for its watch and for the fact that I knew I was going to talk about it today, I would have never watched the game.
When you say deserved, did they score goals?
No.
They did not.
I understand goals.
Okay, based on the play.
But based on the play, United deserved to win that game.
Okay, or you say it could have gone anywhere.
No. It could have Spurs were not dangerous.
I understand what you're trying to say. Spurs were not dangerous, but Spurs picked their moment to attack. And every time they did, they tried to...
Intense.
Yes,
you mentioned something about the Liverpool final. This also happened. Liverpool-Tottenham Hotspur was one of the most boring finals.
Yes, in the Champions League.
I'll never forget AC Milan-Juventus, 2006.
No, that 2006 was Arsenal-Barcelona.
Arsenal-Barca.
What was the next one? AC Milan-Juventus.
Maybe 2005 or when?
That was... You see, that was one of the worst. Whenever teams from the same league are playing in finals of competition, I'm telling you...
Yeah.
Tottenham, Liverpool, you remember?
I think it's going to be different
except
if it's
Madrid, Atletico Madrid, though.
Okay, except Atletico, Real Madrid. And that's because of their big fan and all that. But my point is that I expected a bit more. When next? When next for Ange? Ange has come out to say season 3 is always better.
Yeah.
You know,
He knows how to drop quotes.
You know the funny thing about this man, all through the whole season, he never looks at the camera because he's so ashamed. He's putting his head down, grumbling. Same thing, Amorim. What next for Tottenham? What next for Man U?
I think for Tottenham, they should build from this momentum. If they can help, I don't know if the number of injuries they've had this season has given me so much concern that.
So are you
is
saying
it a physio problem or nutrition or something? It could be anything.
It could be, yes.
But they need to also look inward into that particular problem.
They're playing Champions League next season.
Yes, they're playing Champions
League. So they could
meet
season, Ibaka.
And also, what's this man's name? Danny Levy needs to open the checkbook. I know that yes, he did make some signings and all of that. They also need to cut down the squad and let some players go, some deadwood and very unnecessary. Timo Werner, Matthias Thiel that came on loan.
Tell, it's not a complete transfer.
On loan.
It's not yet. No. Okay, but there's an option to sign.
I think so.
Okay.
I'm on loan. A few players that you know that they really don't have much to offer anymore. And then you rebuild. You start adding, even if it's youngsters that you know that they need to shore up those areas where they don't have backups. Do so. That way, you give your team the option to be able to be flexible. Or you have League Cup games, you'll be able to use these boys and all of that. They went fine in the League Cup. Unfortunately, they faced Liverpool and got knocked out and all of that. But you could see that they were really stretched thin because of the injuries that they had, especially to their first team players.
How about Man U? What next for Man U? Ruben Amorim. Now, there's that talk that he'll still remain.
Of course, they don't have the money to sack him.
Yes, they do not.
Because I think United are in the trenches now.
Yeah.
When I'm in trenches now, 200 staff will lose their job.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, I think I heard rumors that the players are up for sale.
Yeah.
Anthony is up for sale. Oilon is up for sale. They bought him for about 70 million.
We'll get to individual players because look at Anthony you're talking about. Look at McTominay. That is the one that want to use catapult and fire that Man U or whatever they are.
So
we'll talk about that. But what next after the final?
Finance. United now have been asked, the scouts have been asked to go to Belgium, France to get players within 20 to 30 million that can fit into the plan of the club.
Liverpool is about to spend 120,
so
130.
The problem is generational.
And then Man U is talking about. I'm just saying. Yes, I'm just saying about how the tides change.
Look,
how you have all the money. This is a Man U that
Liverpool have been there
if
also.
Not that they don't rate us,
that's what I'm saying.
Nigerian journalists here.
Yeah.
We've been saying these things for years now. United need to go through that suffering period. They've avoided it for long. They've tried to. Maybe one season they try to suffer. They see that the suffering is so much. Instantly they buy a 100 million player, 70 million player.
And it doesn't work.
And it doesn't work.
Look at the salaries they're paying.
And look at
They're paying 300.
Yes. Look at Ratcliffe now.
For 17th club, for a club that's almost relegated, you are paying 300, 350, 280, 250.
Sometimes I wonder, you have scouts in your club. What do they do?
What do they do?
All they do is use their own analysis based on YouTube or another team's scouts. I remember that time when City wanted to buy Fred. United went for Fred. Alexis, Ronaldo. They went for him. Ronaldo, the same thing. You have scouts. Let them do their job. But you're paying them to sit around and just lazy around. That's why when Ronaldo was making these complaints then, you guys called him a madman, called him names, he's arrogant, he's this. But he knows what he saw.
It's bad.
He knew what he experienced before coming.
I mentioned here that it was from the moment I saw it, I don't know why anybody did not see it. Amorim was maybe wrong guy, wrong time. It was wrong time, definitely.
No, wrong time.
It was wrong time because I mentioned
you can see the imprint
when
of
a
this.
coach and a wrong guy. Let me say why. Let me tell you why I say wrong guy. When a coach wants to change a club system, you come in with one or two players who are the fulcrum of that system. Jose Mourinho has done it. The biggest managers have done it at any time. If you want to change the system, and when you come,
but he was not allowed to sign.
That's what I'm saying.
No money.
Exactly. Now you come in. Look at what Arne Slot did. Did Arne Slot sign?
What
I'm saying is that you don't insist on your system. Look, that 3 defenders was never going to work with Manchester United.
I think for Slot,
they didn't have the players
in place for
to do it. I don't understand
what
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. They don't have what to change from a 3-5-2. Those are not things that it takes some level of players to play 3-5-2
personnel
or play 3-4-3.
Yeah.
There's an intelligence that is needed to play that kind of
and work rate.
And work rates.
Yeah.
You must be able to run.
Man, you don't have them.
Now,
let's just say I have a plan to play, but now as I don't have those players, how can I adapt for a while? I'm telling you, if Ten Hag had stayed till now, it don't have been this bad. Rude boy. Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Ruud Boy.
He didn't lose in 4 games.
Yeah.
Ruud Boy came in. That's talking about Ruud van
Ruud van
Nistelrooy.
Nistelrooy.
Right? And he didn't, he would have just steadied the ship. My point is now, you not insisted on playing your style without having a player or two that understand your system. That's why I say wrong man. Because he doesn't have the common sense. I'm telling you, in the long run, maybe let's get to see. But for me, wrong time, that one was sure. We all know wrong time. But wrong man is that as a coach, you are, look, you said you saw Spurs. You saw Ange. Ange has done different things. There's time Ange was giving Bagger Highland.
Yes, now.
There's a time that he decided, okay, let me pack. Let me just sit down. We saw Ancelotti pack the ball against Man City. There was no way Madrid was going to meet Man City 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
If he did not pack the
gonna be
bus,
wiped.
Man City were going to kill him. I saw Madrid for the first time in my life pack balls. I was like, what? Madrid?
And
They won the match. Won the competition. And what are we now saying? So that's where a coach says, based on what is available.
This is what we can do to win.
I guess it's stubbornness, play the part, but at the same time, you are allowed to learn from your mistakes.
Okay,
A new season, start afresh. They play local
learn.
football.
It's Man U you are kind to learn.
Look,
No,
I
it's
think
normal.
it's a good thing for United that they put aside all those distractions of European football or whatever. They don't need it.
No, there is a clause.
They don't need it.
No, they've suffered a loss now. There's a clause in there. Is it Nike or Adidas that they're wearing that if they don't make the Champions
It's
League,
fine.
it's going to be a very huge loss.
I don't care. Yes, we know the yes, they need to go through all of that.
All of this.
They need to be very grounded. Don't forget, Alex Ferguson did start in a very glorious way.
Yeah,
either.
he did.
Very true.
They
Very
needed
true. All
to
right.
be very grounded,
Okay.
do local stuffs, and then build up from there. The transition and rebuilding
Manchester
has
United.
to start.
All right. Okay, you know what happens? You can send in your messages on WhatsApp 0802 0815 247 and let's read them out.